The Confessions of Saint Augustine, Book 6, Chapter 5, following. This I believed sometimes more strongly, more weakly otherwise, yet I ever believed both that you were and had a care of us, though I was ignorant, both what was to be thought of your substance, and what way led back to you. Since then we were too weak by abstract reasonings to find out truth, and for this very cause needed the authority of your Holy Writ. I had now begun to believe that you would never have been such, that you have never been given such excellency of authority to that writ in all lands, had you not willed thereby to be believed in, thereby sought. For now, what things sounding strangely in the Scripture were wont to offend me, having heard divers of them expounded satisfactorily, I referred to the depth of the mysteries, and its authority appeared to me the more venerable and more worthy of religious credence, in that while it lay open to all to read, it reserved the majesty of its mysteries within its profounder meaning, stooping to all in the great plainness of its words and lowliness of its style, yet calling forth the intensest application of such as are not light of heart, that so it might receive all in its open bosom, and through narrow passages waft other towards you some few, yet many more, than if it stood not aloft on such a height of authority, nor drew multitudes within its bosom by its holy lowliness. These things I thought on, and you were with me. I sighed, and you heard me. I wavered, and you did guide me. I wandered through the broad way of the world, and you did not forsake me. Chapter 6. I panted after honors, gains, marriage, and you derided me. In these desires I underwent most bitter crosses, you being the most gracious, the less you suffered ought to grow sweet to me, which was not you. Behold my heart, O Lord, who would I should remember all this and confess to you. Let my soul cleave unto you, now that you had freed it from that fast-holding bird-lime of death. How wretched was I! How wretched was it! And you did irritate the feeling of its wound, that forsaking all else, it might be converted unto you, who are above all, and without whom all things would be nothing. Be converted and be healed. How miserable was I then, and how did you deal with me to make me feel my misery on that day when I was preparing to recite the panegyric of the Emperor, wherein I was to utter many a lie, and lying was to be applauded by those who knew I lied, and my heart was panting with these anxieties and boiling with the feverishness of consuming thoughts. For passing through one of the streets of Milan, I observed a poor beggar, then I suppose with a full belly, joking and joyous, and I sighed and spoke to the friends around me of the many sorrows of our frenzies, so that by all such efforts of ours as those wherein I then toiled, dragging along, under the goading of desire, the burden of my own wretchedness, and by dragging, augmenting it, we yet looked to arrive only at that very joyousness, whether that beggarman had arrived before us, who should never perchance attain it. For what he had obtained by means of a few begged pence, The same was I plotting for my many a toilsome turning and winding, the joy of a temporary felicity. For he verily had not the true joy, but yet I, with those my ambitious designs, was seeking one much less true. And certainly he was joyous, I anxious, he void of care, I full of fears. But should any ask me, had I rather be merry or fearful? I would answer merry. Again, if he asked, had I rather be such as he was, or what I then was? I should choose to be myself, thou worn with cares and fears, but out of wrong judgment. For what? For was it the truth? For I ought not to prefer myself to him, because more learned than he, seeing I had no joy therein, but sought to please men by it, and that not to instruct, but simply to please. Wherefore also you did break my bones with the staff of your correction. Away with those then from my soul who say to her, it makes a difference when a man's joy is it. That beggarman joyed in drunkenness. You desire to joy in glory. What glory, Lord? That which is not in you. For even as his was no true joy, so was that no true glory, and it overthrew my soul more. He that very night should dig his drunkenness, but I had slept and risen again with mine, and was to sleep again, and again to rise with it how many days? You, God, know. But it does make a difference whence a man's joy is. I know it, and the joy of a faithful hope lies incomparably beyond such vanity. Yea, and so was he then beyond me, for he verily was the happier, not only for that he was thoroughly drenched in mirth, I disemboweled with cares, but he by fair wishes and had gotten wine, I by lying was seeking for empty, swelling praise. Much to this purpose said I then to my friends, and I often marked in them how it fared with me, and I found it went ill with me, and grieved and doubled that very ill, and if any prosperity smiled on me, I was loth to catch at it, for almost before I could grasp it, it flew away.